Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we're here today for the Charlotte preview for the NASCAR Truck Series. We will tell you what to expect and who to watch this weekend. So, Jay, have you checked out the entry list yet?
Well, just based on your statement, I was going to say, obviously, you're going to watch Corey Heim, and I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit about that as we do the preview. But the entry list for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway is out. Not quite a full field. You got 34 drivers and teams for 36 spots. Some notes to highlight: Brandon Jones in the number 1 for Tricon Garage. The 02 is going to be Stephen Parsons. The number 07 is BJ McLeod, and that's kind of a replacement for Kyle Larson. They can't be everywhere at once. So yes. BJ McLeod going to be in the 07. Kyle Busch, though, will be in a team truck, the number 7. The number 44, and that's in Nice Motorsports. They work a lot with Ross Chastain. Yes. The 56, Timmy Hill's back in the Truck Series, as well as a fan favorite, a broadcasting favorite, the number 75, Parker Kligerman.
All right. So that's going to be pretty cool. Now, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race is the North Carolina Educational Lottery 200 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is a 1.5-mile asphalt oval. They're racing Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. Radio coverage is available on NASCAR Racing Network, or otherwise known as NRN, Sirius XM, NASCAR 90 Radio. Now, they'll race a distance of 201 miles over 134 laps. First stage is 30 laps ending on lap 30. Second stage also 30 laps ending on lap 60. And then the final stage will be 114 laps, and it will end on the last lap, lap 134. Now, on Friday, the Craftsman Truck Series practice and Kennemental Pole qualifying is on Fox Sports 2, starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The ARCA race is also going to be that day at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The General Tire 150 is on FS1 starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, the truck race that we told you about starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the North Carolina Educational Lottery. So we've got lots of news and storylines here for the Craftsman Truck Series.
And it marks the 23rd running of a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's one race per season since 2003. Not quite since the beginning, but pretty darn close.
Yes, indeed. Now, this weekend's Truck Series break up into the 3 stages that we already talked about, 30, 60, and 134 are the laps that they will be breaking on. And this race is 11 of 25 of the 25 season. There are 8 races left in the regular season before their playoffs begin. It's amazing, Jay, how fast this is going.
It is, and that's where in this series we might start watching the cut line more than the top points battle. We got some good points battles going on, but this is the time of the season. You mentioned the 8 races left in the regular season. The cut line becomes very intense.
It does indeed.
Mentioned it being a home race. Charlotte is a home race for all the truck teams but 2. Thorsport Racing is based out of Sandusky, Ohio, and then Rackley War comes from Centerville, Tennessee, which is around the Nashville area.
And this is the 5th and final race on a 1.5-mile track for the Craftsman Truck Series for this season. So no more 1.5-mile tracks on their schedule.
I really find that kind of amazing that they got them all in this early in the season. I know NASCAR works very hard on their schedule, but would have thought they could have spread those out a little bit more, but that just means short track racing and road course racing through the rest of the year. Now, the last 7 Craftsman Truck Series races at Charlotte were won by different drivers, so we got the streak. We always like to watch the streaks.
Yes, indeed. The number 07 and the number 7 Spire trucks won 2 of the last 3 races on 1.5-mile tracks. I would say both of those trucks are trucks to watch this weekend, but they're going to have to go through this next driver.
Well, I was going to say we started with who can beat Corey Heim, and you mentioned that record there, Kyle Busch being in the number 7. He might be one to contend with Corey Heim, but there's history to battle with there. Corey Heim has won 4 of the last 8 1.5-mile track races, and he has not gone more than 1 race without a win during that time. So if that pattern were to continue, that puts him on point to win at Charlotte.
All right. Now, the driver who led the most laps won 6 of the last 9 1.5-mile tracks. So that's something to watch for this weekend as well.
As well as 5 of the last 10 races in 2025 have had a pass for the win in the last 5 laps. So don't tune out thinking you know who's going to win.
And 3 last lap passes for the win in the last 10 races is tied for the most all time.
Hit on a couple other drivers that have had some great years already. Tyler Ankrum, he ended a 130 race winless streak at Rockingham, and that is the most starts between wins in Truck Series history.
And Tanner Gray won the last 2 Charlotte poles.
Go back to hitting on the season Tyler Ankrum's had. He leads all drivers with 7 top 5 finishes in 2025.
And Corey Heim is the only driver to lead in all 10 races this season.
Wow, he's by himself on that list. Yes. And he is also the only 1 more win away from tying Matt Crafton for 10th in all-time Truck Series wins with 15. Trivia question for you, Sharon. Who leads at the top with Truck Series wins? You know it.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Kyle Busch.
All right. Okay, there were 2 overtime finishes in the last 3 races of this season. There were none in the previous 21 races. So that's pretty interesting.
And I mentioned him. Kyle Busch is still back, not coming back. He's still back. He has 8 truck wins at Charlotte. Now, Kyle Busch finished 1st or 2nd in 12 of his 15 Charlotte Truck Series races. So top 2 finish, mark it down.
That is incredible. Now, the Truck Series is going to be at the track on Friday. I just want to mention there are some things going on this weekend, and I'm going to start with things that are happening on Thursday. Thursday is NASCAR night at the ballpark, teaming up with the Kannapolis Cannonballers for a special NASCAR night. Charlotte Motor Speedway will bring Ty Dillon out to throw out the first pitch at Atrium Health Ballpark at 6:30 p.m.
A lot of places are going to be doing this. You got Junior Motorsports Fan Day. So fans are invited to join Junior Motorsports from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. for a jam-packed day featuring autograph sessions, live SiriusXM broadcast, a special announcement, and live tapings of Bless Your Heart and Door Bumper Clear. Some that are scheduled to appear: Carson Cavapel, Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, Connor Zilich, Connor Hall, Caden Cavapel, plus special leadership appearances from Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kelly Earnhardt Miller, and Wyatt Miller.
All right. Haas Factory Team is having their fan day as well. You can head to the Haas shop from 2 to 2:45 p.m. for an autograph session with Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, and Sheldon Creed. No wristbands are required, so that's going to be exciting for fans. This is why fans go to Charlotte this time of the year, is because they do all of these fan days at all the different shops.
Oh, without a doubt. That'd certainly be a wonderful day or weekend to spend in the Charlotte area. Now, Hayek Motorsports Fan Day, that's from 1 to 4 p.m., and fans can take part in a Lake Norman Animal Shelter Adoption Fair. So certainly a very special and unique one for them. You also got the merchandise sales, hauler tours, product giveaways, and an autograph session with their driver, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who will be there from 1 to 2 p.m.
And at Front Row Motorsports and their fan day, you can head to their shop for an open house, sponsor activations, and vendors. Now, scheduled drivers include Todd Gilliland, Noah Gregson, Zane Smith, Lane Riggs, and Chandler Smith.
And you certainly want to kind of plan out your schedule and who you want to hit and where. Aspire Motorsports Fan Day, they're rolling out the fun with an autograph session. Let's see, Spire O'Kart Tournament and sponsor activations. Theirs runs from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay, there's only one fan day on Friday, and that is for RFK Racing's Fan Day. Start your morning with RFK Racing's fan festivities. Enjoy guided shop tours, interactive displays, Sirius XM coverage, and two big announcements, one from a partner and one from the team. So more announcements. The autograph session kicks off at 9 a.m. with Brad Keselowski, followed by Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece at 10 a.m.
Now, Saturday, May 24th, there you got a big one if you're a NASCAR fan. On Saturday, May 24th, you got the option, and this is added in, that Hendrick Motorsports also has one from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday, but they also have one on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Theirs is a big one, as they're a big team. And it'll feature appearances from Hendrick drivers, Jeff Gordon, as well as Chad Canals. They'll also enjoy the live Sirius XM coverage, some food trucks, the team store, kid-friendly activities throughout the campus. Now, on-site parking is available there at Hendrick Motorsports.
All right. So a lot of fan activities for everybody at Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. You want to go over the points as they stand now?
All right. For the Truck Series, I mentioned Corey Heim is leading the points in a couple of dominating fashions. Overall, he's 47 points ahead of Chandler Smith, who's back at 47, but he has 21 playoff points built up. The next closest is in double digits, as Chandler Smith does have 11. But that's a huge gap to have a jump on when you go into the playoffs. Daniel Hemrick with the win is in third at 87 points back, 5 playoff points. Tyler Ankrum in that same category, 1 win and a stage win, though, so has 6 playoff points. Then you got Grant Infiger, has 2 stage wins, so has 2 playoff points, but no wins. 6th, Ty Majeski has 1 playoff point. 7th is Jake Garcia. Lane Riggs is in 8th, also has a couple of stage points and playoff points built up. 9th is Caden Honeycutt. And then 10th is Stuart Friesen. And that's where you got to watch. Right now, Stuart Friesen in that 10th and final cutoff spot, 267 points total. 6 points behind him is a 2-time champion, Ben Rhodes, 6 points back. And then another 1 point back is Giovanni Ruggiero, 1 more point back at 260. As a rookie, Raja Caruth is another 14 back. Then you got Tanner Gray, Matt Crafton, another former champion. And a couple of these do have a stage win, so a playoff point, but doesn't do them any good if they don't get into that playoffs. But that's where I was talking about with 8 races remaining, and it's only a 6-point gap. Got to watch that cut line, especially if a win comes from a driver back there in the field, because that changes everything.
Exactly. All right, now Kannapolis's favorite son is featured over at NASCAR.com with Thursday's launch of Earnhardt on Prime Video. So the first 2 episodes of Earnhardt documentary premiere on Thursday on Prime Video. So if you're not going to be at the racetrack, that's a good way to spend your time on Thursday.
Well, and it's a key point. You want to have Prime Video because that's where these races are going to be.
Exactly right. All right. Anything else you think we should mention before we move on, Jay?
Oh, sure. Let's talk about maybe taking a pick or two. I know we generally don't stick with what. Yeah, I know we normally don't stick with one.
I know we usually pick 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Okay.
Well, I'll let you go first. Which of the 2 favorites are you going with, and I'll take the other one.
Well, there's Grant Enfinger, and there's Corey Heim, and there's Kyle Busch.
I really think Heim and Busch are the top two favorites, and that's not discrediting Grant Enfinger by any means. But just looking at the statistics, that they came from the Toyota camp. I know KBM's not involved anymore, but under that Toyota banner, I think those are going to be the tough two to beat.
Brandon Jones is also racing this weekend, but again, I think he'll have to go through Kyle Busch or Corey Heim. Lane Riggs, he took a beating last week, I think, from the fans. He's going to be on the go for this weekend and always wants to win. Ross Chastain is another driver, but again, it's hard to go with anybody other than Corey Heim and Kyle Busch. I'll take the Kyle Busch driver.
All right. Well, then as far as favorites, like I said, I'd take the other one. I'd have to go Corey Heim there. One I think you might really want to keep your eye on, mention him as a two-time champion, Ben Rhodes. And that win would put him into the playoffs with that victory, move that cut line. And I hate to see Stuart Friesen be the one pushed out. But I think it's time where Ben Rhodes says, hey, we got to get it together.
And he's usually very, very good on 1.5-mile tracks. So I think that certainly is possibly a real good pick for Charlotte Motor Speedway. And keep in mind, these drivers are racing in front of their hometown crowd, if you will, in that most of them live right in that Charlotte area. So their family and friends are able to come to the track to support them and watch them race these races. And these drivers love winning in front of their family and friends. So it could be a surprise winner too.
Well, and you mentioned a good one there with Lane Riggs, and I was one of them that was a little harsh on him of the past couple of weeks. But here's the thing. He's had a fast truck and he's got talent. So if he's in there mixing it up, I got no problem with that. I hope maybe he goes on what we'll call a redemption tour, gets the victory, but does it with a clean pass and a power move.
Or do as Sal says, I hope he baked a lot of cookies to pass out to all of his.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He's supposed to be making friends. He's going to have an autograph and a cookies session there for drivers. That's for drivers only. If you're upset with
only, the makeup tour, if you will.
That's funny.
It is funny. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an exciting race to watch, and I'll be tuning in. For sure.
Most definitely. And that's just the beginning of the weekend.
It is. Watch for more coming soon. We've already completed the preview for the ARCA Menard series. We now have the Truck Series preview done. And coming up next will be the Xfinity series. They're racing on Saturday, along with the ARCA West Series racing out at Colorado National, and then the Cup Series, of course, they're racing on Sunday. So we'll be doing all of those previews for you to know who to watch and what to expect at Charlotte Motor Speedway and Colorado National this weekend. And we also want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We always appreciate it. And we want you to know just how appreciative we are that you take the time to hear what we have to say. So, Jay, is there anything more you want to say before we go?
No, just waiting and looking for a great weekend of racing. Again, mostly at Charlotte, but also out there in Colorado National as we talk about the West Series here later on.
Okay, take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.